Welcome to Supreme Book Dealer. My name is Wes, and 2022 was an amazing year for books. There are so many books that I enjoyed reading last year. And today, I want to share with you my top 6 favorite books from 2022. Now, there is a quick caveat. Some of these books did not come out in 2022, but as you all know, there is but so many books a person can read in a year. So a lot of these books are from years prior, but I had the pleasure of reading them last year. And we're gonna start with number 1, Night by Elie Wiesel. So I read this as part of my classroom reading. I also teach 8th grade ELA, and this was one of the books in our curriculum that we had to read, and it is about a young man's kind of experience during the Holocaust, going to a concentration camp. And I can tell you in the beginning, my students really didn't get into it. It was kind of boring, but by the middle of this book, they were hooked. Me, on the other hand, I love the book throughout. I really do not mind a slow build. I actually prefer that if the outcome warrants it. So Night by Elie Wiesel was an absolute banger, and I really enjoyed reading it. All right, number 2 is Stamped by Ibram X. Kendi and Jason Reynolds. This book is so amazing because it takes racism and it takes things that happen in a historical context, and it really breaks it down and it makes it a lot more digestible, right? It's not written in a very dense way, not too complicated. It really makes what the content is about very easy to understand. This is great for adults. It's great for kids in school. It's great. It's just a great book. I loved it. Another absolute banger. Stamped. If you have the time, check it out. So, number 3 is a book that I recently talked about. I recently made a video about it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on my page. And it is The Essential Dykes to Watch Out For. This was like the second to last book I finished last year, and I absolutely loved it. It is more like a comic strip. It's like a very long comic strip because the comic ran for several years. It revolves around a group of women, part of the LGBTQ community, and just their lives. They get married, they get divorced, they fall in love, they go to work, they hate their jobs. It's kind of like just real life stuff, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. When you read it, you can be like, I also hate my job, right? Or I also just got out of a relationship. Anything like that, but it is such a dope book. Yeah, check it out. The next one, number 4. This is a book that I can't go on enough with how much I love it. And this one is actually a cheat because I read this book twice. I read it a few years ago and I read it again last year just because of how amazing it is. I think it's a true masterpiece, and it is called The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This book revolves around I think she's 15, a 15-year-old girl named Zia Morrow who lives in Harlem. It's like a coming of age story. You know, she has a twin brother. She has a very religious mother, very religious. She has a father who is there, but not really there. Like he's kind of, like he's there, but he's doing his own thing. She has friends, falls in love with a boy. She does some things that she's not supposed to do. She gets in trouble for those things, and she is a poet, and she is a damn good poet. The beauty about this book is it's called The Poet X. It revolves around a girl who is a poet. It is written in verse, so it's very easy to read. It's a quick read too. I think I read this in like 2 days, but that's also because of how amazing it was. So The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, not only one of my favorite books to read last year, but one of my favorite books to read ever. Such a good book. Number 5 is a book called Burn Down, Rise Up by Vincent Tirado. This book was a trip. It's hard to really go into details without giving away a large chunk of a plot, but how should I say this? So there is a young person named Raquel. Raquel knows this boy named Francisco who like disappears. His last sighting was at the hospital where Raquel's mother works, and he touches her and he transfers some type of virus, some type of disease, and her mom gets really sick to the point where she almost dies. Raquel has to go save her mom, but in doing so, she has to go to a place that she has to take a train to. It's like the old Bronx. So the story takes place in the Bronx, which is absolutely amazing because I'm from the Bronx and it gives me that nostalgia. She basically takes a trip to the past, and by going to the past, she's playing this game and she has to beat the game to save her mom. I said a mouthful, and I hope I did that justice. I know it kind of like rambled, but that's an amazing book. Go check it out. Which brings me to my last book, and my last book is The Murder of Mr. Wickham by Claudia Gray. Now, this is the last book I read in 2022. I literally just finished it maybe a week before the new year. Maybe a couple days. And this is an amazing mystery. It's very cliche in the sense that it kind of follows the same model that most mysteries do. There is a dinner at a mansion and all of these guests show up to this dinner. Somebody shows up that was uninvited, that everybody hates. That person ends up dying, he gets killed, and everybody had a reason to kill him, so everybody is a suspect. Everybody had a legitimate reason to kill him, right? So then the two youngest people at this party basically become detectives, and they try to figure out who the killer is. And the one thing I absolutely love about this book is that unlike some other mysteries where it's like everybody kills this person, there is one person who kills Mr. Wickham, who is the person who dies. There's one person who kills him, which I love because I feel like when multiple people do it, I always get this empty feeling and I think it's a cop-out, but there is one person who did it. They are the killer. But as per usual in most mysteries, that person faced no repercussions because they somehow tried to justify this person killing Mr. Wickham. I didn't really like that, but overall, I love the book, Murder of Mr. Wickham. So these are the 6 books that I loved reading in 2022. 2023 is going to be another amazing year for reading. My name is Wes, here with Supreme Book Dealer. If you want, please share this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. The links should be in the description. And if you have any recommendations for books, if you have a book that you want me to read and review, you can put it in the comments, or you can send an email to supremebookdealer@gmail.com. As always, be well and keep reading, and I look forward to talking to you all in 2023. Peace.